The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within hours of the first reports. Representatives from across the spiral arm gathered in their floating chambers, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and electronic pulses. At the center of the Great Hall, the holographic display showed the impossible, empty space where the mighty Draconian armada should have been. Admiral Kresh of the Vorthon Navy leaned forward in his gravity chair, his 6 eyes focusing intently on the display. "You're telling us that 3,000 Draconian warships simply vanished?" The trembling Centaurian messenger nodded, his blue-tinted skin pale with fear. "The entire 5th Fleet, sir. Gone without a trace. No debris fields, no energy signatures, no distress signals. They were in Earth's orbital space one moment and the next." "Impossible," hissed Commander Vrex, her serpentine form coiling tighter around her perch. "The Draconians don't simply disappear. They're the most powerful military force in known space. Their ships are the size of small moons," the messenger's voice cracked. "We thought so too, Commander. But the quantum scanning arrays confirm it. The space around Earth is completely clear of Draconian vessels." A heavy silence fell over the assembly. The Draconian Empire had been conducting what they called a pacification operation on Earth for the past 6 months. The humans, a relatively new species to galactic politics, had apparently committed some transgression that warranted the deployment of their most formidable fleet. Most council members had assumed it would be a simple matter of subjugation, followed by the usual resource extraction. "What of the humans?" asked Diplomat Ross, one of the few beings present who had actually visited Earth before the blockade. "Are they still planet-bound?" The messenger consulted his datapad with shaking appendages. "Yes, sir. Our long-range sensors show normal population centers, standard technological emissions. They appear to be going about their daily lives as if nothing happened." "As if nothing happened?" Admiral Kresh's voice rose an octave. 3,000 of the galaxy's most advanced warships disappear above their planet and they're acting normal. "Perhaps," suggested Council Elder Thrix, her ancient voice carrying across the chamber, "we should ask them directly." The suggestion was met with nervous laughter from several representatives. The humans had been classified as a Class 3 civilization barely capable of interplanetary travel. The idea that they could communicate with, let alone threaten, the Draconian fleet seemed absurd. "With respect, Elder," Commander Vrex interjected, "these are the same beings who use chemical propulsion to reach their nearest moon. What could they possibly tell us about advanced fleet movements?" Elder Thrix's many eyes blinked slowly. "Perhaps more than we assume." The communication request was sent to Earth's governing bodies within the hour. The response came back faster than anyone expected, and from an unexpected source. Not from any official government, but from something called the Emergency Human Defense Coordination Committee. When the transmission began, the council members found themselves looking at a middle-aged human male sitting in what appeared to be a modest office. Behind him, through a window, they could see a blue sky dotted with white clouds. He wore simple clothing and spoke in a calm, measured tone. "Greetings, members of the Galactic Council. My name is Director Marcus Webb. I understand you have questions about the recent departure of the Draconian fleet from our solar system." "Departure?" "Admiral," Kresh sputtered. "They didn't depart, they vanished." Webb nodded thoughtfully. "I suppose from your perspective it might seem that way. The truth is we asked them to leave and they agreed." The chamber erupted in disbelief. Species that communicated through electromagnetic pulses sent waves of confusion across the assembly. Those with vocal cords shouted questions and protests. Webb waited patiently for the noise to subside before continuing. 6 months ago, when the Draconian fleet first arrived, they made certain demands of our planet. We found their terms unacceptable." "Unacceptable?" Commander Vrex could barely contain her shock. "You're a primitive species. You have no choice but to accept." "That's what they thought too," Webb replied with a slight smile. "They were mistaken. You see, while humanity may lack faster-than-light travel or energy-based weapons, we do possess something that proved persuasive. And what might that be?" Elder Thrix asked, her voice carrying genuine curiosity. Webb's expression grew serious. We showed them our history. All of it. Every war we've fought, every enemy we've faced, every time we've been pushed to the brink of extinction and found a way to survive. We demonstrated our capacity for adaptation, innovation, and when necessary, absolute ruthless determination. He paused, allowing his words to sink in. We explained that while we currently lack the technology to threaten them in space, we are very good at learning quickly. We showed them projections of what human military technology might look like in 10 years, 50 years, a century. We demonstrated our nuclear capabilities and our biological research. We introduced them to the concept of what we call mutually assured destruction. The chamber had grown deadly quiet. Most importantly, Webb continued, we made them understand that conquering Earth wouldn't give them a compliant population. It would give them 2 billion humans with nothing left to lose and an entire planet's worth of resources to use in creative ways. We asked them a simple question. Was it worth the risk? Admiral Kresh found his voice first. And they just left? Webb nodded. Admiral Thraxus was quite reasonable once he understood the situation. He concluded that the potential long-term costs outweighed the short-term benefits. They departed 3 days ago, and frankly, we're grateful for their wise decision. As the transmission ended, the council chamber remained silent for several long minutes. Finally, Elder Thrix spoke, her ancient voice carrying a note of something that might have been respect. Perhaps, she said slowly, we should reconsider humanity's classification status. The motion was seconded immediately, and for the first time in galactic history, a species was promoted directly from Class 3 to Class 1 based entirely on a conversation.